where am I going to go with NFTs? How would I use this? Can I use this for my own business? We're going to try to answer all those questions for you today. My name is Paul Barron. Welcome back to TechPath. With me today, I've got Nikita Nguyen, who is coming to us from LA, but from a company that's based in Vietnam. So Nikita, great to have you on the show, man.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And thank you for having me.
I always call everybody man, just so you know. It's not that thanks for being on the show, Nikita. But I'm
Okay.
just a very casual interviewer, so a lot of times I just reference all my friends are man.
That's
And it's
great.
probably
That's
the
great.
inappropriate
Yes.
thing to say. but but listen, we want to jump into, and when I got the lead and we learned a little bit more about your company. I love the name, first of all, NFTify, NFTify. I like the whole model of it. Tell us a little bit about what the platform is designed to do, what its major characteristics are.
Right. Well, thank you first of all for pronouncing it right, Niftify instead of NFTify. Yes, so we branded ourselves as the Shopify of NFT. So
Hmm.
different from any other NFT marketplaces, we are a multi-chain platform to allow people to create NFT stores.
Right.
So what that means is right now we're supporting Binance Smart Chain.
Okay.
However, you'll see a lot of partnerships coming up in terms of us partnering with other chains, including Riff, Polygon, Ethereum, of course, and
Hmm.
Polkadot. So
Oh,
people will
okay.
be able to, yes, choose their own chain to mint the NFT on. And the thing is, creators will not only be able to mint their NFT and sell it and trade it, as well as to associate with other DeFi features on the platform, they will be able to use the community plugins to customize their own store to create their own brand.
Okay, so wow, so it is kind of the Shopify for the NFT marketplace. I like that approach. So at some point, and obviously you're going to roll out with many of the smart contract elements that are already in play. Are you looking at doing something with groups like Cardona who are going to roll out their smart contracts this summer? How would be I guess what would be the qualification of a particular project to be able to plug into your platform? Obviously, you need
I mean,
smart contracts. What else?
mhm. Any projects that create NFTs and have NFTs as assets in their projects. So we're looking at gaming projects. We're looking at music. We're looking at even documentaries, videos, and all sort of digital arts.
Right. I like that. So we've
Hmm.
actually thought about going to developing a NFT for TechPath. So the idea is, we cut out reviews, we cut out some of our clips, maybe some of our cool interviews, and utilizing them
Hmm.
in the space. Would that be a model in which would work on Niftify?
Absolutely, yes. I've been talking to people about documentary NFT stores where creators can provide unique and up-to-date or historical information
Hmm.
that can be sold to, news companies or any
Right.
production company that is interested in that to produce commercial production.
Wow, that would be really cool. I mean, now I'm asking questions for our own business. You know, maybe this is another step because we have looked at this here for TechPath. For many of you that don't know, TechPath.show is our website. We publish all of our content on there, and we're starting to get a lot more inquiries because the traffic for our show is absolutely exploding. But okay, so I'm a brand. Maybe I'm a sports team. A good example, a sports team,
Hmm.
I don't necessarily want to go on something that's already out there where I can't really control my brand. I want to
Hmm.
go and control my own brand. You're saying that Niftify is the route to take. So if I'm the, Miami Heat, I want to go build a platform just that is Miami Heat NFTs. I've got the ability to bring my clips in, my jersey art, all my different functions, and it functions completely as my entity. Is that right?
Absolutely, if you are not tied to any kind of licensing.
Right.
with any other entities, then yes, then you'll be
Yeah.
able to, freely create your own NFT in any form. And we're talking about, a lot of fractional levels too, because I
Hmm.
hear people have amazing ideas. For example, NFT or basketball are huge in the
Right.
US. And not only can you tokenize an athlete, you
Hmm.
can tokenize every single part of an athlete. For
Yeah.
example, you say an athlete, he has, um, amazing, throw, and you just want to tokenize his hands.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you'll be able to, plug that in different projects that in the future we are going to partner with. So people will have more utilities with their tokens. For example, they can use their NFT to play different games. Not only, to trade it as an asset on any marketplace
Right.
or our own platform.
Now, is this going to work the same way? I need a MetaMask account, the same structure I would normally plug into any other NFT device. Is that the
Hmm.
model in terms of being
Yes.
able to handle the transactions? Okay, so it works
Right.
just like that.
Hmm.
Is there any issues in which, let's say, for instance, it was the Miami Heat, here one of our hometown basketball teams, and they were to launch something on NFTify and they did their own brand store, all that, but they wanted to also maybe go over and also make those NFTs available on Mintable. Could they do that with duality? And if it sells on one platform before the other, how would that
Hmm.
work? Would you be able to dual
Right.
use case?
Yes, so I would say that NFTify, especially the phase one that we're gonna release in a couple of weeks, will allow people to first of all to create their own NFT store. And after that, buyers will buy their NFTs or themselves can also list their NFTs on any other platform to
Okay.
sell or to
Yeah.
allow people to trade. And we call OpenSea or NBA Top Shot the secondary marketplace, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we consider ourselves as the first layer where people can kind of like wholesale and have
Okay.
their
Yeah.
own brands,
Yeah.
right? And in the next phase, of course, we will have our secondary marketplace too. So people don't have to go to another platform to
Sure.
do the secondary transactions. However, the thing is, within one platform, the cool thing about NFT is creators will be able to set their own royalty fee as well as integrate the smart contracts. So
Mm-hmm.
they are the real owners of their assets.
Yep.
And then within one chain, one network, we'll be able to track all the transactions to make sure that whatever loyalty fees that they set out when they mint an NFT will be protected, will be followed, and whatever you know um, profit made upon their NFT by other people will be compensated back to them in the future. So,
So
yes.
I want to make sure I got that right. So, because what you're saying, let's just take music in general. An artist creates a
Hmm.
song, they create an NFT through it. They want royalty. They release it into the wild. It goes to the marketplaces. You're saying that if it's put into the marketplaces, that the royalty fees via blockchain would find their way back to that artist wallet.
Yes, if it is on the same chain, on the same network, then we will be
Okay,
able to trace that and compensate that back to the original
interesting.
owner. That's the cool thing about blockchain technology and NFT itself that I think a lot of creators are interested in.
Yeah, for sure. Is there any plan of interoperability? Because that's one of the things within blockchain. And if you look at OpenSea and then some of the other marketplaces that are out there, is there a plan to at some point plug in, so to speak, create APIs in a sense to where if I've got a store on Niftify that I want to fly it out to OpenSea or Mintable or any of these marketplaces, that it can just plug in and say, publish here and publish there, kind of like a podcast does. We do this with podcasting right now. We'll say, hey, publish it on iTunes, Spotify, and Google Play. Anything like that?
Could be. We need to talk to them.
Well, there you go.
Yes,
You got an idea and some homework to do
right.
because that's going to be. I think that'll be interoperability is going to be a big key, especially among the marketplaces. I think
True.
because Shopify has been they've been kind of out on that island, but they got so big so fast. And if you think about Shopify and Etsy, and then Amazon all together, if there was a place, but remember the difference is that you're doing something very unique. All of those places, every brand has to go develop their own product page on those facilities. So
Yes,
it's
for sure.
not
One
you're not
seller can sell on a lot of different platforms.
exactly. You don't
hmm
have that governing space like you would have on your platform. So that's kind
hmm
of cool. I think that's going to be a big deal. How do you prove ownership? What's the traceability for an NFT once you acquire one?
Right. So sellers on our platform will have to provide KYC, which
Okay.
is, I think, a major theme these days.
Yeah.
Because NFTs as well as the cryptocurrency and blockchain space are getting into regulation.
Yeah.
So KYC is an important part, so we know who's selling, and in case we need to reach out to them, we have a way to. Yes, and on top of that, one of our strengths is the AI features that we built in the platform. So the team that we founded this project before NFTify, we have a team of blockchain and AI development also in Vietnam, and we have developed a an engine using computer vision and machine learning to detect images, and
hmm
we were able to integrate that into Niftify right away. It was one of our first sprint that we did while building Niftify to be able to, run the engine on the back end when a creator upload an image or a file to mint an NFT.
Yeah.
The engine will be able to scan that and identify whether or not it's unique, or it finds some duplicates or similarities. And in
Right.
that case, we will be able to reach out to the creator and solve any dispute that may arise.
Well, yeah, because you're dealing with copyright law in many cases, and brandability. I think that's going to be a big factor. Which if you look at YouTube, YouTube has a fairly good algorithm and AI system that's able to somewhat detect that in terms of music, certain images, and et cetera. And it's fairly good, but I would still say that it's a long way. You're saying that your AI can do that right now. It's going to launch. The store's going to launch with that.
Our AI is already able to detect, to protect, to enhance the copyright protection in terms of for images.
hmm
We're working on music and videos right now. But
I
for
see. Okay.
images, we already have a demo out that you can go on our website, our landing page, which is Niftify, NFTify.network, and click on products, and you'll see AI, and you'll be able to test the platform to test the AI feature.
Oh, that's
You can
cool.
upload your own images and see how it works. So you'll be able to detect. You can upload a whole bunch of similar images, and it'll be able to tell you which one is unique and which ones are similar to each other, as well as identify content. For example, sexual violence
Right. Yeah.
or yes, things that violate
So
the law.
is that so are you going out, I don't want to get into the secret sauce, but are you in essence of banking for AI, it's got to have a data resource to be able to pull from. So is it just an open web search that you're doing an image search, drawing that data back in and then cross-checking against that?
We'll have to integrate with images that are already out there, because we're thinking a lot of sellers from other marketplace will be interested in selling on our platform
Right.
too, and in that case there will be a lot of people that may want to copy that and
hmm
just mint another NFT from the same images. So we'll need to integrate with the NFTs and have the data of the NFTs that already minted.
Right. I mean, we have a problem with people spamming and copying our own content here.
Well,
It's a big
that's a
problem.
good problem to have.
I don't know. It's a little
Because,
bit
if
weird.
you're not popular and if you're not valuable, then nobody wants to copy you.
That's true. Good point. Yeah. All right. Well, I like it, but I don't like it. So at the same time, I'm wondering if this, when you look at blockchain, because I've always wondered, well, this is a traceability mechanism, and especially from an NFT standpoint, that could be a scenario where we could really kind of start to kill off, and this is something we've talked about on the show before, kill off a lot of these bots and a lot of this traffic that's on the internet that essentially is doing exactly that, taking away from other creators, whether it's music, images, videos, whatever it might be, and trying to
Mhm,
utilize it
mhm.
in their own stores. So that's going to be fun to see you guys develop. I want to talk, okay, so let's jump to a new topic, and that is the future of non-fungible tokens. And for many of those out there, I mean, NFTs have kind of evolved into a variety of content and creator. If you listen to a guy by the name of Gary Vee, I don't know if you know about Gary Vee, but he's Gary Vaynerchuk, big social media star, started Wine Library TV, owns one of the biggest agencies in New York and around the world. But he's really gone all in on NFTs, and he thinks this is one of the biggest movements in blockchain that is out there. When you take that into consideration, a guy like Gary Vee already pumping this, what are some of the key things that you see right now that could be in the future for the use case for NFTs?
Well, man, I can think of anything. Anything can be an use case for NFT, really.
Literally, so daily
From
life, art,
daily life, yes,
music.
your daily life, art, music, physical item, and your time.
That's a good one because that's what he talks about a lot is the whole idea of time compression and the utilization and energy. If you listen to Michael Saylor a lot, it's the human energy ecosystem.
Right.
It's the only place where blockchain can truly track human energy and then place a value on it. So,
Mm-hmm.
you and I are spending 30 minutes here on a show, putting out a lot of human energy to try to create that. And hopefully there's going to be some clips out there that our scammers are going to grab from this show and then put out on about 15 other YouTube channels and start utilizing it to monetize, which happens all the time. So I can see this being a scenario that anything that you could see from an aspect of maybe moving into mainstream. So let me think about things like medical. All right.
Mm.
Could NFT, medical applications, insurance, real estate, all these kind of things down the road, how far do you think NFTs could go in terms of innovation in use case?
I think those traditional industries will take some time to figure out, how they need to change their business model to adapt to
Right.
NFT so they can fully utilize what NFT can bring. So I think it'll take a few years for them to investigate and do some research and see some other use cases. And I think that, the first use cases that happen in NFT right now are in entertainment.
Right.
So gaming, music, and I can see, videos. And
Sure.
we see even like news now. The other day, I saw an article that CNN started to sell the election articles as
Interesting. Okay.
NFTs.
Yeah.
Yes, so and I think that these are already and will still be the first movers in the NFT space before other traditional industries will jump in. Even though with Niftify, I already have some ideas to approach some, including Apple. Manufacturing companies um, to present them how NFTs can help their business.
Right. I
And
think this is going
hopefully
to be
that.
interesting for sure. Okay, so let me ask you, if you look at different ecosystems out there, like Patreon is one, where creators go out, they build a platform, then they get kind of get that notoriety, and then they go build a how-to program or maybe some early access or other things within a Patreon. NFT, a platform, especially like what you're talking about, could completely replace that need to go out into these sub platforms and develop your own, if you're, I mean, in essence, you're building your own infrastructure for a Patreon to be able to get, paid for your work as a creator. I could see that being a huge marketplace. I'm just surprised that places like Patreon and many of those types of creator platforms have not gone in this direction. Do you feel like that's just a challenge they're not going to go to, or do you think they're just thinking this market's going to take too long to develop?
I think that is a question of whether or not they want to give more rights to the
To
users
the
instead
creator?
of
Yeah.
centralize,
Right.
because right now they are still in the traditional business model. They
Hmm.
pay creators a percentage and they control the revenue.
Yeah.
So, and that is totally the opposite of what NFT enables creators to
Yeah.
do. So
Yeah, for
it's the
sure.
question of whether or not they are ready to make the move, right? And I think that a lot NFT, like I said, can be integrated into any industries. So it's more than just art creators. It's more than just collectibles. It's more than just IP domain. It can be anything. We're talking about in education too, like how that
Hmm.
can be the source for students who want to go to Harvard or Columbia, for example. But
Right.
they excellent students, but they struggle finding the fund, and the traditional way limit them to access to the real sources. So
Hmm.
this by tokenize their talents, their future plan, they can totally get funded in a much easier way by many many more people.
Yeah, I'm concerned about that's one thing that several experts have brought up is tokenization of your future career, like a doctor. It's a scenario you go to school for X amount of time. Sure, you go into a lot of debt and scenarios like that, and the potential of tokenizing a career out along, you got to be careful because that could really tie into, especially as blockchain develops, that could really lock you in, much like student debt today is kind of
Right.
locking in a lot of these people that have kind of gone in that direction. So, but I think the cool thing is that there's a lot of innovation happening. That's the good part. And I think that as we see a lot of companies kind of start to really develop on this, creators, I think you're right. Creators are going to be the first to kind of come to the game and really kind of utilize this as it going. NFT museums coming as a trend or no?
I can see that as a natural thing, a lot of people will want to capture the history of NFT, what's going on, right?
Right.
Like people claim that I am the first NFT museum. Someone else claims that they are the largest NFT museum, and they
Hmm.
display different pieces in the blockchain space. So I think it's good. I'm not sure if it's a trend, but it absolutely. I think that it absolutely helps the space in general.
Well, I have a question for you. What about platform use case for your platform that you have a company, maybe it's a league, let's say it's something like the NFL, all
Uh
right,
huh.
or entities like that, which have a lot of sovereignty, throughout all their different, participants, so they've got all their
Mhm.
teams, their owners, their athletes, etc. But the NFL is the NFL. Um,
Mhm.
is there is your platform capable of creating like a mothership platform and then giving access to all of the creators underneath that platform
Yes.
their own independence? So imagine kind of like a white label of Niftify, so
Yes.
to speak.
Yes. That's what we're doing. Exactly.
Okay, so that's possible. Is that possible on your launch? Is that where you're going with this?
The first phase will be one authorized user on one store, but we're
Okay.
developing to, yes, have more users under the admin. So it's under the way.
Yeah.
It'll be the next phase.
So that'll be interesting because I think that would be
Yes.
a cool marketplace to create
Hmm.
within, because
Yes,
there's a lot of
because
applications like that.
right, and there are a lot of ideas. There are a lot of bright minds out there. They have ideas that I or you here not thinking of. And like I said, anything can be an NFT. So, for example, someone who has an idea and then they think that they can lead that sector. It's a very
Hmm.
niche sector, but then
Right.
they have that idea and they want to create a store to do that, to test that. Then the platform totally will enable them to do the experiment.
Yeah, for sure. Wow, Nikita, this has been pretty amazing. When is the platform launching for you?
Early July. It's
Okay, so
actually
just around the
the
corner.
team is we're wrapping it up. We have the demo for the fourth sprint, which is the last one of phase one next Monday, and we want to make sure that everything is okay before we launch.
Very
So
cool.
to the
All right.
public, I say that yes, early July.
So, of course, if you want to learn a little bit more, just go to niftify.network, which is, the main place where you can kind of learn a little bit about it and then kind of jump through, which I love your website here. Great colors. It has the kind of this tech path looking thing. I like it. And
Thank
I
you.
like the partnerships here, especially with Binance Chain. I think that's going to be a good one.
Hmm.
Polygon's going to hit too. I think that's going to be a big one for
Yes, they
sure.
have
So it's
huge
definitely going to
community
tie
right
in.
now.
Yeah, I've been surprised at how successful their partners are that work with Polygon, and in
Hmm.
general, their community is very similar to
Yes.
like the XRP community, just very,
Hmm.
very
Hmm.
into it, and they're very tech oriented, so they understand what's happening, for
Yes,
sure.
they one of the chains that have the most DApps on their chain right now.
Right,
So
right,
yep, a lot of
yeah.
people are supporting them.
Yeah, I think that's the cool thing that's going to be watching in terms of the DApp development is just the scale in which we're seeing innovation right now.
Hmm. Hmm.
Mind-boggling for sure. All right,
Yeah.
Nikita Nguyen from NFTify. Great having you on the show. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Pleasure.
All right, so you guys are tuned in, maybe over on the podcast right now. Thanks for, of course, tuning in. You're listening in your ride home, maybe you're on the train ride, whatever it is. Maybe you're going back to work finally and you're getting back to that old commute and you're needing a good podcast to listen to. Well, this is the one right here. Make sure and give us a rating. We love those 5 stars. And if you're here on YouTube, the number one thing you can do right now is subscribe. So just reach down there, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and then maybe share this video. You can hit that little share button. You can tweet it out. You can send it over to Facebook, maybe even email it to a friend that says you should check out TechPath and what Paul's doing over there. We love you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you have an idea for a show, email producer@revernetworks.com, Twitter, me, @Paul Barron. We'll catch you next time right here at TechPath.